Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning.
Hey, Mr. Gray.
Yeah, Mr. DG. Good morning to you. Yes. Good morning, everybody who has been able to join. We can see you in the chat room already. You're dropping messages. That is fine. Okay. It's good to have you all here, ladies, who are on the MTN Yellow Preneur program. As you know, this whole initiative started sometime last year. Some of the women had gone through a series of training, even pitched their businesses, but this is a major extension, to have some of you be a part of the Transforming Nigerian Youths program. So as part of the entire Transforming Nigerian Youths program, we have also decided to put together this series of webinars, right, to help you polish those gray areas in your business. As it is, I know that a schedule has been sent to you that contains all the different key business areas that will be addressed during this webinar series. But today we will be focusing on marketing management. And to do this for the next few hours is our able faculty, who is very experienced in the area of marketing, digital marketing, selling, just putting your business out there and collecting money back is very important. Being visible is important, but you must be able to receive money for all of the efforts that you're putting into your marketing and all that. Okay, my name is Graham Eko. Your coordinator for this program is Halima Rabiu. I'm sure that you have been interacting with her in different capacities. And also, I think it's important for us to give kudos or shout out to MTN Foundation, for bringing all of this together in this wonderful partnership. All right. So maybe for me to be sure that you can hear me, and maybe you can say thank you, MTN. Okay, yeah, I can see that already in the chat. So that is nice. So I will leave you in the hands of Mr. DG Falokbe, who will take us through this session in the next few hours. So thank you very much, everybody, and have a wonderful learning experience.
All right, thank you very much, Graham, for your excellent introduction. All right, I'm happy to be here. My name is Ayodeji Peter Falokwe. So if you can hear me, please put it in the chat and say yes. Let me just see that in the chat. I'm tracking from 2 devices, so I can present with one and see your chats in the other. I don't want to miss any part of this. Okay. Fantastic. Okay, so let me ask in general, what is, from your perspective, what is marketing management? Who knows what marketing management is? To you, what is marketing management? Just, you can put it in chat and then you can unmute. Okay, let me ask specifically. Abosede Odubako, what is marketing management to you when you hear that? Okay, Zuwaira, go ahead. Let me hear from Zuwaira. What is marketing management? Well, this is an interactive session, so I'm going to ask a lot of questions. So what is marketing management? Okay, Edidion, let me hear from you. What is marketing management? I'm unable to hear Zuwaira, actually. I'm not sure if it's just me. Please, Halima, just allow them on mute. I'm going to need you to be active so they can unmute and go up and in and out. Because I need to engage with them.
Are we supposed to type the answer or answer directly?
Are you supposed to what? Just go ahead. Tell me, what is marketing management to you?
Okay, marketing management is a process of to make a product be known, the planning first of it, and then also knowing the market and the people we are going to sell our products to.
Okay.
Turns around awareness, making our product, the public to be aware of our product, how we're going to go about it, and how we're going to.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for at least for attempting. That's fantastic. Oluwatosin Adedapo, your turn. Go ahead. What is marketing management? Oluwatosin Adedapo, go ahead.
You are muted, sir.
Okay, thank you. So I can see in the chat, marketing management is the process of planning and executing your marketing plans. Okay. I can also see, based on my understanding, is how to control and operate your various activities in business. Okay. Remember, we're talking marketing management. Okay. Now, these are interesting perspectives. Let me switch in here to the chat. Now, you see, whenever we have sessions like this, my concern is not so much about what we are learning as to what we need to cover and how much we need to implement. So please note that you may feel bombarded with information, but it's not really complex. A lot of it is grammar, really. So if you listen to the definitions, the grammatical definitions, a lot of it will make sense a lot. So for those of us who didn't spend, enough time, in the English classroom, this is where we're going to be in trouble. So when you were in school, I hope you attended your English class so that you can understand, the terms, the definitions, so that we can clarify nomenclature, essentially. Okay, so let's jump right in. Marketing management has to do with a plan, campaigns, and tactics used to create and meet demands of a target customer to drive profitability. Okay. I can see somebody crying. Okay, I hope it's not because you skipped out on your English classroom, your lectures. All right, let's jump right in. Now, from this advert, what do you understand from this advert? Just unmute and talk to me. Just unmute, talk to me. What do you understand from this advert? The first person to unmute can go right ahead. What do you understand from this advert? When you see these images, what comes to mind?
I'm speaking.
Yes, go ahead.
Go on. A man that was tired looking and then have a product and then he become energetic and vibrant.
Fantastic. So what does that tell you about the product?
That the product is energy giving and is going to help someone to stay alive.
Awesome. Fantastic. So you're marketing this product to tell them that if you need energy, this is the product to go for. Isn't it so? Yes. This is the product that gives you energy. You're tired, don't worry. Take this product. Energy will come. Yeah, just like that. Okay. Now let me ask you, Didion, this advert has been very successful around the world, even without words. Just these three images. But when they took it to Saudi Arabia, it failed. People did not buy the product. Why?
I think it's a matter of cultural difference. They are might not align with their culture and the environment, what they're used to.
No, but what they don't drink is alcohol. This brand is not alcoholic.
I still feel maybe their culture might not be. They're not this kind of open.
That's not the reason. Zuwaira Abubakar, tell me.
Yes, looking at the pictures, it's the first one is someone is feeling weak, and then when he drinks this and he gets energy. If they are to look it in their own understanding, then they might think it's something alcoholic, something that they drink.
That's not why, because this guy was just tired. He wasn't drunk, lying down in the gutter. He's sitting down on a chair, a beautiful white couch.
Yes.
He's sitting on a beautiful white, yeah, so that's not the problem. So, Beatrice, let me hear from you. Beatrice, let me hear from you. Go ahead. Okay, Sandra. Beatrice, are you ready? Jump right in. Just jump right in. Beatrice, Sandra, Chika. Anybody, just jump right in. Let me give one more person the opportunity. In fact, if we can get this correctly, I'll speak with ADC and MTN to have one free advisory session for anybody that can get this correctly, which means you will have a paid consultant sit with you, and that's valued at about 400, 500,000 naira. They'll sit with you and help you with your business personally, focused on you. If anybody can get this correctly. Anybody can get this correctly.
I think it's actually against
Sandra.
So, sir, morning, sir.
Morning. Suddenly you have energy. What happened? The energy just came from nowhere. Huh?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Talk to me.
Okay, sir. I feel this is one is actually against their culture. They don't believe in the drink. They don't believe that there's a drink that can actually energize them to work harder. It's just a mind thing, sir.
That's not why. Let me tell you why. Let me make it easier for you. Does anybody want to try before I reveal the answer? In Saudi Arabia, it failed. Okay. Let me reveal the answer. You see,
okay,
when you're talking to your customers, you must always think like your customers as much as you can. In Nigeria, when we read, do we read from left to right or right to left?
Right,
so
to
right,
left to right.
Read from left to right. In Saudi Arabia,
yes.
did they read from left to right or right to left?
Left to right.
No, in Saudi Arabia. In Saudi Arabia, how do they read?
They read from right to left.
Thank you. They read from right to left. Thank you. Thank you. You're right. I can see a lot of charts. Yes, you read from right to left. So if you read from right to left in Saudi Arabia, what does this advert tell you? Deborah, you are beginning to get a picture. I can see your chart. All right. Who wants to jump in and tell me, what does this advert tell you? It means if you have energy and you take this drink, you become tired, which means our drink makes you tired. But do you think that is what the company wanted to communicate? Is that what they wanted to tell the market? No, wrong communication. You see, the company was saying what they wanted the audience to hear. They were not asking what the audience wanted to hear. There's a difference. In the same way, when you're creating adverts, creating content, creating communication, when you're marketing, creating marketing communication, you need to know what your audience wants to hear that will compel them to act in the way that favors your company. Very important. Now let's go a bit further. Let's go a bit further. You see, marketing, you are the one saying, I create the best designs in fashion. Please put your business in one word. What sector, what industry you are into. Put that in the chat group. Just put that in the chat. If it's fashion industry, if it's the oil and gas, automotive industry, if it's the food business, just put that in the chat. Let me just see that. Okay. I can see the agricultural industry, gas industry, pure water manufacturing, fashion industry. Okay, skincare. I can see a lot of industries. All right. So you see, as far as your customer is concerned, what you say, I want you to understand are two different things. So you are saying, I create the best designs in fashion. Unless they tell you that they understand exactly what you have communicated, that you create the best designs in fashion, you have wasted that marketing campaign. Which means your marketing campaign must have a goal that must be measured, and there are parameters you will check to say this is a successful marketing campaign. A lot of us market on Instagram, WhatsApp, which are some of the easiest platforms to market, on. Maybe some are bold enough to go on radio, maybe television. Maybe you have a billboard outside your store or your outlet, or you have your logo. But you see, how do you measure how effective your digital marketing is? Is it working? Are you targeting the right people? Do you have so many followers and so little sales? Are a lot of people telling you fantastic content, great, but they are not buying? What is your goal for advertising? What are you trying to advertise, and why are you trying to advertise? So this is a little bit about me, the blah, 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 the long story. I won't bore you, with all of that, but I've had a lot of experience, more than 17 to 20 years experience working in marketing communication and sales. And I've been privileged as well to work with MTN on some of the fantastic campaigns, over the years. I did television campaigns with MTN for more than 7-8 years. I've done, I think, even more than that, about 15 years. Because we did different projects together. And then radio, I did radio with MTN for 9 years. That was Yellow Radio, and that was about 50 stations nationwide. And then we had events as well. I was involved in Project Fame, a number of events nationwide, including when Channel was available in South Africa. So I've been privileged, to work with MTN. So please, just say, put MTN in the chat. MTN has been very kind to some businesses like ours. We made a lot of money, doing business with MTN. So please, let me just put MTN in the chat, just so we can thank MTN. So MTN, thank you very much. And I'm honored to be here to share, that information. And I've also worked with a lot of other organizations as well. So these are just some of the organizations that I've been privileged to work with over the years. Now, note this, I've been privileged to start working with a lot of these brands from when I was in my 200 level, 300 level in university. So because of that, I've been able to work with a lot of these brands up till now. So my advice for you in that regard is find a mentor. A mentor will open doors faster for you than you can ever dream of, because the mentor already has that door open. It will take you years to get to that door, not to talk of opening it, but the mentor already has the door open. They just carry you along. So find a mentor, stick with them. You will go much farther on the shoulders, of others. So these are just some of the brands that I've been privileged, to work with. I'm UAC, Interswitch, G Foods, P&G, IFM, Rothmans, and and this is, I couldn't fit a lot in here, but I just thought I'd put that in here. I'll put some of them in here that were particularly interesting to me. Now, what is marketing management? Marketing management is a business discipline that involves the practical application of marketing orientation, techniques, and methods within enterprises and organizations. I know this sounds like a lot of grammar, but don't worry, I'll break it down. It's just grammar, don't worry. It also involves the management of companies' marketing resources and activities. The field has two critical aspects. This is where we're going to start breaking it down. One focuses on the strategic orientation of the business, which means, what do we want to do? It's more of managerial. What do we want to accomplish? What are our goals, mission, value? What are we selling? Who are we selling to? What do we believe in? What are our ideas? What is our brand about? All of that defines who we are and what we are selling and what we are communicating. One aspect of the marketing management deals with that. Then the marketing team communicates that and markets that. So those are essentially the two core aspects of marketing management. It's not that complex. So you see, the first part talks about the discipline that involves the practical application of the marketing orientation. So you see, many companies, when they change the CEO of a company, in many cases, the direction of the company changes ever so slightly. And sometimes even, in major ways. So which means whoever is leading the orientation of the company will have that effect trickle down all the way, to the entire organization. Then the marketing team communicates it, and then they use different tools, which we're going to get into later on. So please keep that in mind. Now, these are the differences and similarities between marketing management and marketing for SMEs, because I'm focusing on you as SMEs who will grow to become, larger organizations very soon, very quickly, within a short period of time. Now, the aspect, let's talk about the scope. When it comes to marketing management, it covers overall activities, in many cases global. You see, as an SME, nobody is saying you can't sell to companies and customers in different parts of the world. So you're selling globally already. I know SMEs who sell to customers in UK, US, Canada, South Africa. They're global already. Keep in mind that an international organization and a global organization are two different things, but that's a different conversation. But talks about your standardization and all of that, but we'll deal with that. But for SMEs, it's a lot more narrow when you talk about the scope. Now, the scale also varies, essentially in terms of budget, resources. That's when we're talking about marketing management and then marketing as an SME. But it's good for you to know both of them, understand both concepts. Now, the strategies for marketing management or for marketing management focused organizations, you have a mix of ATL and BTL, which means you have a larger budget. Or 6 months, and for some people, that's the entire budget for the marketing campaign of an SME. So keep that in mind. Now, for you as an SME, your budget may not be that elaborate. So also the data and technology matters. Data and technology you engage with matters. Keep that in mind. The analytical tools that you use matter as well. The challenges that you face are also very different. So I suspect I lost you for a second. If you can still hear me, say hello. Just put hello in the chat. Let me be sure that you can still hear me. Let me be sure that you are following. Fantastic. Thank you very much. I'm happy to see that. Okay, so the commonalities are essentially as follows. Both of them aim to meet customer needs profitably. You both want to be profitable. MTN wants to be profitable. You as an SME want to be profitable. It's that simple. And both of you require a clear understanding of your target audience and your value proposition, which means what are you selling? Who are you selling it to? If those two parameters or statements are not clear, you will waste a lot of money when it comes to your marketing, because you will market to people who will never buy your product. And that is essentially money wasted. Now, we're not going to go into the marketing funnel and, the sales funnel and all of that, because I assume you've seen a lot of that, but please note them down if you haven't seen that. And if you haven't seen that, please write no marketing funnel. Put that in the chat, and I'll jump into that, in the question and answer section. Now, marketing essentially, let me see that in the chat. If you haven't had any engagement with no marketing, oh, fantastic. I can see marketing funnel. Oh, okay. Some say they have no experience with marketing funnel. Interesting. Okay, that's fine. Which means I will jump into it. That's fine. I will jump into it. Now, marketing essentially is the action of promoting or selling your products and services, including market research, advertising. Now, as SMEs, what marketing does for you is it creates demand for your product, which means when you market, people then demand for your product and make a sale. So marketing precedes sale. And then sale ensures that the activities of marketing are fruitful, which means you spend 10 naira marketing and you create demand worth of 50 naira. You go in there, you close a sale of 40 naira. So you've spent 10 naira, you've got the sale of 40 naira. That 30 naira revenue, that 30 naira profit, pardon me, is shared between marketing and sales department. So let's assume they share it 50-50 because there are efforts in both departments. So you share it 15 naira, which means marketing can calculate their efforts as, their profit as 5 naira. And then sales, assuming they spend 10 naira, on their sales activities, can calculate 5 naira as their profit margin as well. So you can see that when I started talking, it sounded like you spend 10 naira, you make 15 naira. It sounded like you make 14 naira. It sounded like, oh, there's 30 naira to play around. No, there are many expenses you have to consider, and there are many other departments that you engage with as a marketing, within your marketing activities. So what is marketing management? Again, just to run through all of these, because you will get the slides. So read through all of this when you have that, slide. Key components are strategic planning, talk about the marketing mix that's coming up, talk about consumer behavior, marketing research, brand management, product development, promotion and advertising, sales and distribution, and of course, analytics and return on investment measurement. Never, ever start a marketing campaign unless you calculate how much you're going to spend and how much you're getting in return. At least have projections. Know how much you're expecting. It's like getting into a marriage and you don't know the person you are marrying. Even if it's an arranged marriage, your family would have known who the person is, known his or her family. So it's like marrying a stranger. You wouldn't take that risk. So please don't make that same mistake with your business. Now, these concepts, you can read them, but we're going to delve into them deeper as we progress. Now, please note that for your business, there are 3 types of research that are extremely important. You cannot escape: market research, consumer research, and competition research. And you'll understand why as we go ahead. Now, this is the marketing mix. And this is how it has evolved. You see, in the middle, the circle in the middle talks about product, price, place, promotion. That is how the marketing mix started over the years. And it has evolved over the years to include people, process, and physical evidence. So keep this in mind. All these parameters have to be considered when you are creating marketing campaign. You see, all what we're talking about will essentially consider it you going to war. And, in 48 Laws of Power, Sun Tzu says, if you know yourself and you know your enemy, you need not fear the result of 1,000 battles. Understand yourself, understand your competitors, understand your customers, understand the market. The outcome will always remain the same. So with that in mind, essentially most campaigns are designed to run quarterly, which means every 3 months. You run a 3-month campaign and then you test. You run a 3-month campaign and then you test. 1 month is usually not sufficient to analyze human behavior, because you need some time for the marketing activity to permeate into the market before you can adequately judge and assess the efficacy of that particular marketing activity. So essentially in the marketing world, we essentially run it quarterly. Sometimes we run 3 quarters, 4 quarters, 5 quarters, which means it spills over a year. Sometimes we do that, yes. But essentially, we break it down into models of 3 months, which is a quarter. That's why when you go to any TV station, radio station, they tell you, are you buying a quarter, which is essentially supposed to be 12 weeks, but it's also called 13 weeks, because the first week is usually used as a test or a pilot. That's what they call a pilot episode. So please keep that in mind. Now, like I said, I'm going to bombard you with a lot of information. But the purpose of bombarding with that information is so that you can have these slides and go do more research and you can have more questions. There are questions you're going to have after this presentation that you were not even aware you should be asking. So this slide is not just designed to teach you certain aspects of marketing, communications, or marketing operations, but it's also designed to teach you what you should be asking your marketing team about. You don't have to be an expert when it comes to marketing, but you need to know how to have a conversation with the experts when it comes to marketing. You are a business owner. That is your priority. So please keep that in mind. Now, marketing management essentially focuses on the customer. It ensures that the products and services offered meet the needs and the wants of the customers. You see, if you have a product and you cannot define the needs it meets for your customers, you're going to have a big problem selling. And if you've been selling maybe 1 or 2 or even 10, you've just been lucky. Because if you do your homework properly, instead of selling 10, you should be selling 100. I know a client of ours who was making 30% profit, but he wasn't doing, strategic marketing, and he felt it was doing okay. He said, okay, within 2-3 months, we analyzed his business, and by the time we effected proper marketing campaigns, his profit went from 30% to 70%. So imagine for how many years he could have been making 70% profit, and he was only making 30, and he felt happy. So imagine how much you're losing not being strategic about your marketing. So think about this. You think you're making money now? No, you're probably not, if you're not being strategic about things like this. So you also need to consider your competitive advantage, which is where competition research comes in as well. And then sustainability helps in building brand and customer loyalty and relationship for long-term success. It's 9 to 10 times more expensive to get a new customer. It's better and cheaper to keep an old customer. So as much as you're trying to get new customers, spend a lot of your marketing resources, niche marketing, remarketing to your existing customers, loyalty programs, promotions. All those activities fall under marketing. So ensure that you take care of your existing customers so that they are retained within your business. Because if one customer leaves and you have to replace that customer, you will spend money to get that new customer. Meanwhile, if you spend 1 naira to retain a new customer, you will have to spend 10 naira to get a new customer. Let me explain. Marketing efforts, you have to go on TV, radio, advertise. Your new customer has to be aware of you. They have to become aware of the need. Leave their existing service provider, which is your competition. So you have to convince them to leave whoever is providing for them to come over to you. That costs money because you have to be bombarding them with adverts, convincing them, spending time, effort, resources, paying staff, paying consultants, running adverts, doing so much to get them to leave where they are and come and buy from you. That costs more money, 9 to 10 times more. In the past, it was about 5 times more, but because of inflation, the economy, and the inability, the lack of desire for a lot of customers these days to take those risks, it has gone up to 9, 10 times. So please keep that in mind. Now, if you also notice, I'm mentioning some statistics, which means you can't escape statistics. You can't escape statistics. Yes, Amarachuku, you're right. You will get the slide. EDSO and MTN will make sure you get the slides. You can't escape statistics when it comes to your marketing efforts. I mean, I've had a conversation with 1 or 2 businesses and, ask them, why do you market on Instagram? They say, yeah, that's where everybody is. And I feel that's where my customers are. Well, you don't just feel that that's where your customers are. You check to be sure that that's where your customers are. So there's what we call A/B testing or split testing. You do that in digital marketing and also in traditional marketing and every kind of marketing. So if you know what A/B testing is, just put it in the chat. Let me see how many people know what A/B testing is or split testing. Split testing. So please keep that in mind. No, you don't. Okay. So A/B testing, essentially, this is what that means. You see, if you want to spend 100,000 naira to market, either you want to go and display on maybe at a supermarket, you want to put your signboard here, you want to run digital advert. Before you spend that 100,000, first create 2 or 3 different types of adverts that cost you maybe 3,000 naira each. Run 3 of them. Look at which one has the best traction. Which one has the best ROI within a short time. Yes, you will need up to 3 months to get the full permeation, but within the first 1 or 2 weeks, you have an idea which one is being well received. Then put more of your resources, not all, put majority of your resources behind that particular advert, behind that particular campaign. But if you just run one campaign, you won't know what part of it is working or not. You won't know what people like, you will not know what people don't like. That when I say people, I mean your customers. I'll give you an example. There was a real estate company who, I mean, they were running their sales like everything else. And then during Valentine, they just run adverts and convince people, if you want to show that you love somebody, buy this for that, you know, buy property for them. And then we said, okay, you know what, let's take a different approach. Let's test how effective this is. And we ran another campaign. We analyzed the market and realized that majority of the purchases were from, you know, young couples for the kind of real estate that they were selling, you know, between 2 million, 3 million to about 10 million. You know, it was a low, you know, to low mid end. And we realized that the purchases were made by young couples. Majority, I'm not saying other people didn't buy, but majority of their customers were young couples who just got married and maybe they just had their first child. So we said, okay, let's play on something. The strongest emotion. Who knows what the strongest human emotion is? Thank you, Ngozi. Split testing. Compared to versions of something. There you go. Thank you, Ngozi. Please take a look at what Ngozi said on the chat for split testing. You know, just take a look at that, and let's get back to this. Now, who knows what the strongest emotion is? Love, death? No, it's not love, it's not death. Death is not an emotion. The strongest emotion, fear. Thank you very much. Uloma, fear is the strongest emotion. A lot of women will tell you they get married for love. No, it's out of fear. They don't want to be, the fear of being alone, the fear of not having somebody provide for them, not having a covering, someone care. Fear drives a lot more than love. If it's love, why would, as a woman, why won't you marry a poor man? And go and marry, there are many single poor men. Why? Marry them now. It's not love, it's fear that drives you. You don't want to be poor. You know, Nigeria, essentially, you know, that concern is there about, you know, provision. Now we know that fear is the strongest human emotion. So this is what we did for the real estate company. We sent a message out, you know, to a number of women who we used as test subject. And we asked them, and we let them know, we said, look, when your husband wanted to engage you, he put a ring on your finger to prove to you that he was going to marry you. That was the promise that he was going to marry you. Now he has married you. How do you know he's being faithful to you? Now, the average Nigerian man, there's so many stories that the average Nigerian man can have 2-3 families in different parts of Nigeria or different parts of the world, and none of them will be aware. And then maybe after he dies, you see them coming out that, okay, he's dead. And then you'll be wondering, only him had 3 families. Well, it happened. So women are still, we knew that women were still concerned about that even after they got married. So this is what we did. We said, okay, look, a man may gamble with his family, but he doesn't gamble with his investments. So if your husband really loves you, he will include you and the children you have together in his investments. Which means if you ask him about his investments, and what investment lasts forever? Property, land, nobody's taking it away, the earth is there. So what investment lasts forever? Land. So if the man wants to prove to you that this your family is the only family he has and is going to last forever, he will include you in his landed property investments. So ask him. So we realized something, that a lot of the women, you know, they won't ask the husband during the daytime. They wake him up at night to ask him. They'll be looking at him, he's sleeping. And you know how women can, you know, they'll just wake up looking at the husband, and in their mind, they're thinking, this man, hey, how do I trust? In their mind, women are thinking different things. And you know how you think? Women, we think we are smart, you know, but you've caught us, and you're just looking at us saying, hey, see this silly man. You don't know that I know everything. I'm looking at him. So, you know, she will wake him up and say, honey, look, let's buy property, you know, in our name and in that of the children, you know. And if the man dares say no, she begin to ask why. Are you sure you don't have any family outside? Are you sure this is your own family? So why will you not? Why will you not? So for the man to have peace of mind, he will say, you know what? Okay, where is the property? Oh yeah, let's go, let's buy. Oh yeah, bring the children. Bring the 2 children. Let's go and buy. So you see, we knew that women had that fear. I'll get to market segmentation, Boma. So we knew that women had that fear. So it's just understanding your customers. And of course, the sales went on, but we didn't push that too much because of the ethics. But that's just to let you know that understanding your customers matter. So we're going to get into market segmentation as we proceed. Now, let me jump forward to analyze your entire business. Everybody's business falls into this breakdown. You want to make profit. Everybody is in business to make profit, and profits cannot come without revenue. Revenue comes from sales. Sales come from marketing and communications. I'm trying to let you see where marketing fits into your entire process as a business. And then you can't market and communicate anything that you have not branded or packaged. And branding and packaging is important to separate you from your competitors, because when you market and you are not unique and special, they might as well go and buy any other product, and then all your marketing efforts, the benefits of your marketing efforts will be accrued to your competitors, and you don't want that. So you want to stand out. That's why when you watch TV and you hear an advert from MTN, and you see an advert from MTN, you know. When you listen to the radio and you hear an advert from MTN, you know. This is MTN. It's that simple. MTN, bright yellow. We stand out at MTN. It was very clear. You know, MTN has the majority of the market share in Nigeria. There's a reason for that. MTN will never stop advertising. MTN will never stop marketing. MTN will never stop helping people. It is part of the communication. We will always, keep communicating. So keep that in mind. So branding and packaging is important, but you must have value and products. Your value or your product is what you package and brand. You now communicate the value proposition, the use, the value to your customers that you've predetermined, and then sales will happen. Sales can never happen without marketing. So it's from your sales you get revenue, and it's from your profit, it's from your revenue after deducting your expenses and all of that you then get sales. So yeah, you can take a screenshot of this, but don't worry, you're still going to get all the slides. So the most powerful entity that can shut down your business is your customer. Your customer is your real CEO, not you. You are not the owner of the business. Your customer is the owner of the business. It's that simple. Now, marketing must be customer focused because profit comes from customers, nobody else. Your profit comes only from your customers. It's not your brother or your sister. Nah, your customers. Now, why do you need to understand who your customers are before commencing marketing? Please respond to this. Put this in the chat. Why do you need to understand who your customers are before you start marketing? And why do you need to understand what gets the attention of these customers before you start marketing? Why? Why do you need to know who they are? And why do you need to know what gets their attention as customers? So you see, yes. Now I'll just answer this for you. You see, like I mentioned earlier, if you don't know who your customers are, you market to people who are not going to buy from you. And your customers, you define them by people who are willing and able to buy from you. If they are willing to buy from you, marketing is successful. If they are able, you have selected the right people. So first select the people who are able to buy from you, and then ensure that they are willing to buy from you with compelling messages. Attract them away from your competitors. Use a USP, customer service, special promotions to attract them to you. So they are willing and able. Anybody who is not willing and able is not your customer. Don't waste your time. It's like you want to sell human hair and you want to market to men. You go and check people who sell human hair on Instagram. If you find one man there, I'll be worried when you talk about the customers, unless maybe he's buying for a girlfriend, a sister, or whatever. But in most cases, it's women, 99.9% women, because it's targeted at women naturally. So you've done your targeting naturally. But what if you do your targeting scientifically? Imagine how much more profit you'll make. You see, even within the women they are targeting, how many of them really buy from you? How many of them just talk about you? Well, you don't want them to just talk about you. You want them to talk about you that leads to sales. So you have to be clear about your goal when it comes to marketing. If your goal for marketing is for awareness, which eventually leads to sales, that's fine as well. but you have to be clear. So you need to understand that before you commence marketing. So to see an entire picture of your target audience, you have to be well informed about a lot of information about them, where they graduated from. You see all this information, the educational level, where they work, all this information about them. These pieces are called your demographic information. And demographic analysis is one part of market segmentation, which means even if you've segmented your market by gender, male, female, you still have to go further and segment it further. Now, I'm going to show you market segmentation in a second, but after you analyze your market, this is the type of document you're going to have. You're going to understand their private life, their professional work, their social channels, and their tech preferences, their outlook on life. Where do you find them? Do you find them at events? Do you find them on social media? Do you find them at physical events? Is it the church? Is it the mosque? Some people would buy from a company on Instagram and not know that that company is on their same street. It's possible, and I'll explain that to you. So after you have that information about your customer, you then match your product or your proposition or your service to fit the customer. So you see that line demarcates the customer and your value proposition. If the two of them don't match, go back to the drawing board. You are not going to sell to that customer. That customer will not buy from you. You waste money marketing to that customer. So this document that puts this, there's a proper document that analyzes all of this. It's called the value proposition canvas. Write that down. We don't have a lot of time to get into that, but just write that down. It's called the value proposition canvas. But what I've done is combine the buyer persona template with value proposition. But there's a document that elaborates on this in detail. It's called value proposition canvas. Now, market segmentation. What I described earlier was the demographic information. You see, any information you can read about your target audience in a file. You can read about their age, their marital status, what they earn, where they work. Anything you can read about them on a file is their demographic information. Their age, their higher school level, things like that. Number of children they have, that's demographic information. Now, geographic information is essentially, as is described, where they live. But note that geographic information is not only physical anymore. There's also digital geographic information. Some people live on Instagram and WhatsApp, which is, like I mentioned earlier, people can buy from you on Instagram and you can be on the same street with them and they don't know your company is on the same street. They don't care. They complete the entire transaction online. Which is why, you see, when you think about companies like MTN, a lot of people assume that MTN is just there for you to make phone calls. No, MTN is providing far more than that. Far, far more than that. Besides the connectivity, besides the access, MTN provides so much more. So you see, data and phone calls are just the beginning of what is being provided by MTN. Think about that. So you can have when you have time, dig into the services MTN has for SMEs. You see, there are so many ways you can reach out to your customer without them even knowing your physical location. And they don't care. They want the service. They don't care about you or your physical location. Please, let me say this. Your customer does not care about you. You should care about your customer. That is reality. They don't care about you. They only care about what you can do for them. If I ask now, for example, how many of you know the Chief Technical Officer at MTN? You probably don't. But when you call, you can hear the person at the other end. When you chat on WhatsApp, your data works. That's all you care about. And that's okay, because you're a customer. So your customers are the same way. So geographic information is physical and digital. Now, psychographic information essentially is information you can get about your customers when you talk to them. Why do they buy from you? Why do they like your products compared to your competitors? What needs do your products meet for them? There's a lady that barbs my hair. Her name is Olamide. Now, within the salon, right? There are some other cheaper salons that are around that particular salon, but I go specifically, to that salon and I go to her station. And unless maybe she has 4 or 5 people, I usually just wait. She has 2 or 3 people, I can wait. It's because, one, she's a woman and she's the only woman in the entire barbing salon. So that's interesting. And then I have a conversation with her. Okay, how did you learn this? Didn't you face any kind of challenges from the guys? Didn't they crack jokes, laugh? And then we got to know each other. And I realized that, you see, that's her marketing tactic. She engages with the customer service, which is why, understandably, you see 4, 5, 6, 7 men waiting for her to barb their hair. And I thought it was just men. It wasn't just men. Women too are waiting to have, the hair dye, barb and all sorts, waiting for her. Her customer service is fantastic. So she gets a lot of information about why they are barbing, their hair with her. And then she sends all those chats, customer service, she engages with them, happy new month, oh, there's this new hairstyle, take a look at this, she engages with them. So psychographic information is what you can learn about your customers by talking to them. So as she's engaging with you, she's learning about you. So when you come, she say, how is madam, how are the children? She remembers all those things. I found out later that she writes them down. She doesn't need to cram them, but she has all that psychographic information. But there's also something that's interesting about this. Psychographic information gives you information about your customers. It's like survey when you interview them. You learn about them. Now, customers lie. Customers tell lies. So how do you act? How do you run a marketing campaign when you are worried about whether the information is true or not? If a customer tells you, oh, I'm going to buy from you. If you ask anybody, do you like my products? They will say yes. But the only way to prove that they like your product is for them to buy. So do you like my products? 90% or 99% will say yes, but maybe 10% will buy. So that means majority of customers tell lies because psychologically, humans don't like to hurt other people's feelings right in front of them. At least it's uncomfortable for them and they don't like to be uncomfortable. So they just say yes and then go away. But you see, you have to combine psychographic information with behavioral information, which is you watch what they say and you watch what they do, and you combine that information to understand the customers in truth. I'll give you an example. When I was at University of Lagos, right, in Tejo, there was this part of the market where they sell secondhand clothes, right? Now, all the ladies on campus will say, all their clothes are brand new from boutiques, this and that. Oh, fine. But those guys in Tejo selling secondhand clothes, women's secondhand clothes, they're always selling. So who is buying? If all the ladies are wearing brand new clothes, who is buying those secondhand clothes? Okay. But me, as a gentle campus student, when I was buying my secondhand clothes at that time, I went there and I bought my secondhand clothes. I met a classmate of mine, I won't mention her name. Immediately I met her there, she started explaining. And, this one I'm buying is not really for me. It's for, she mentioned another lady's name in our class. It's for this other lady, But then she was checking it against herself, to see if it will fit. I said, but you're checking it against yourself. She said that, she has measured her size. I didn't ask her for all this explanation. So what I'm saying is, you see, even though she said she's always buying new clothes, say my gender, Victoria, I can see you laughing, but it is what it is. So even though all the ladies say they buy brand new clothes, it obviously wasn't true. So I had to study the psychographics and the behavioral information to come up with accurate description of my target market and know how to segment them. So that is a practical approach to market segmentation. Most market segmentation classes, they just tell you demographic, geographic, behavioral, and psychographic, but it's so important that I wanted to take time out to break this down for you. So I hope that, clarifies a little bit for market segmentation. Now, for branding, to separate you from your customers. At Mr. Damu's Cattle, you can see the logo AC, bam. Mr. Musa's Cattle, the logo MC, bam. You see, it's not just branding. It's what the brand stands for. If you put the logo and the design, that's not all that's important. When people see the logo, what do they think about? You see, let's look at Mr. Adamu's cattle, for example. People know that for Mr. Adamu's cattle, excellent for meat, great for milk production, which means you know that the cattle will be taken care of more delicately. Because you know that the milk production is very important. So they are more delicate, you know, how they wash the cattle, how they take care of the cattle, the grazing and all of that. But Mr. Musa's cattle, his cattle are more rugged because they are used for labor in the farm. And when they die, he cuts them for leather, you know. He can do whatever he wants with the meat. Yeah, sell it, but the selling of the meat is not important. It's not priority to him, unlike the leather. You know, so you can see that the branding for your company is important, but what the branding stands for must be communicated and marketed to your customers. Please keep that in mind. So don't just say, this is my logo, this is my brand. What does your brand stand for? So let me play a little game. When you think about MTN, what comes to mind? Just put it in the chat. Just say MTN, then put something in the chat group. What comes to mind? Put that in the chat group. Let's go ahead. Communication, everywhere you go. There you see. There we go. Airtime, life. Thank you. Communication, you see, everywhere you go. You can see that I'm seeing a lot of repeat messages. I'm seeing communication everywhere you go. It is because MTN as a brand took their time to craft and communicate this. Communication, data, has services, stable network, service, you see? Yellow, you can see a lot of your responses are similar because MTN took time to communicate all these in different ways. So you as a brand as well need to take time to craft and communicate all of this. So let's play a little game. Look at each one of these brands. When you think of Chivita, Konga, Indomie, Dangote, Arise, and Google, just pick any of these brands and write what comes to mind. Just put that in the chat. Write what comes to mind. Now, I've also mentioned earlier that as a business, you need to do your market research. You need to do your market research, consumer research, and competition research. Now, for Chivita, I can see sweet drinks. Do you know that Chivita also has a farm where they raise poultry? Maybe a lot of people don't know. But you see, they don't market that to you. Instead, they market that to companies like KFC because you are not their customer for that. So they are clear about who they are communicating to, and they know what they communicate to them. So all these other brands that you see on the screen, what they communicate to you are what they want you to know about them. Now, there are many other products that MTN has that are not targeted at you. There's MTN Prestige, for example. I mean, every month I spend, let's say, between 150, 200,000 on airtime. So I have a dedicated account officer. So the products, the kind of products that are marketed to me will be different from the type of products that will be marketed to maybe a campus student who will spend maybe 10,000 or 20,000 on data, because the products are different. So you may buy more frequently, but then I buy in bulk because I mean, it's company and all of that. So you can see that the products are different. So in your company as well, don't just group all your products together. Have different products and be clear about who their targets are. Be very clear about who you are targeting with all your products. Don't just assume that all your products target the same customer base. They might be very different for all you know. So this is your business. Your business is a goldfish. Fantastic. Everybody likes to think of their business as a goldfish. But like I said, it's not what you think or how you feel. It's what the customer thinks and feels. Your opinion is mostly irrelevant. Unless your customer's opinion and perspective are prioritized before you can consider your opinions. So this is a goldfish. This is your business. Well, I have news for you. They say a goldfish has no hiding place. Well, guess what? Right now, there are more than 200 species of goldfish in the market, which means there are many other businesses just like yours. So how will you stand out as a business? How will you stand out as a business? Well, this is you, your business, and these are your competitors. They are going to eat you up unless you stand out. Now, You stand out by communicating yourself, your business, what you stand for to your audience. You see, you don't need to kill your competitors. You just need to kill your competitors in the minds of your customers. Does anybody get that? That's a phrase that I think you should understand. You don't need to kill your competitors. You just need to kill your competitors in the minds of your customers. If I'm selling to women, my product is specifically designed for women. If my competitors are very popular among men, I don't care. It's none of my business because the men are not buying. They're not my customers. But it's when the women that I sell to are very aware and prefer my competitors to me, that's when I have a problem. So you can see that you have to be clear about who your competitors are, who your customers are, and the entire market. So please keep that in mind. Thank you, Adebumi. Kill your competitors in the mind of your customers. Take them out. You see, MTN stepped into the 5G space. First of all, it was intentional. MTN ran that advert. I don't pour to, it was strategic. You see, my people, study MTN as a brand. I'm telling you, study MTN as a brand. Study MTN from when MTN started in Nigeria as a brand, the positioning, the adverts, the care, everything as a brand. You see, you will learn so much from MTN as a brand. It's not a gamble that MTN is at the top. It's not a coincidence. It is well planned and it is strategic. So these are just some types of marketing. There's traditional marketing, digital marketing, niche marketing, customer lifecycle marketing, experimental marketing, course marketing, neuromarketing, ethical marketing. There are different types. Let me see which one. Okay, neuromarketing, essentially you're taking into cognizance the psychological aspect. So that we combine that with experimental marketing, which is what we did with the ladies and property. But we stopped it because of ethical marketing. So there are different types of marketing. There's niche marketing, for example, where you focus on a specific market, where you begin to talk about things like the blue ocean strategy, and things like that. So there are different types of marketing. But if you see, I highlighted the top three, which is where as SMEs you want to play a lot with traditional marketing, digital marketing, and maybe niche marketing in particular, because that'll help you, segment your market to be more detailed. Please segment your market, know who you are targeting, and know who you are not targeting. Know who you are targeting and know who you are not targeting. Please. Hello. Yeah, sorry, I was just switching network. Just a second. Okay. Okay. If you can hear me, please just say hello in the chat. Sorry, I just switched network. One of my phones died off, so I moved to the other line. Okay. Don't worry, still MTN. All my lines are empty, and don't worry. I just have about 2 or 3 of them. All right. All right. Hello. Okay. So that battery is gone. So I'm using the second phone now. Okay. So these are types of marketing. And advertising is a type of marketing. I mean, it's public relations. There are different types of marketing. So these are the popular types of advertising that you will probably be aware of. You probably need to be aware of and know, where to get, which one to get engaged in. It's above the line, below the line, and through the line. Every type of advertising is categorized into one of these at the very least. Now, above the line advertising, these essentially are these talk about mass media, where you can reach a large number of people, but you can't get direct feedback about what they're doing and what they're not doing. Now, talks about television, radio, newspaper, advert, magazine, cinema, outdoor, which means people can see your communication, right? But you can't get feedback from them about how they feel, about what they think. So that's essentially how you characterize above the line marketing. So these are the advantages. You have a wide reach, you have high visibility, it's effective for brand building, fantastic for brand building. But the disadvantage is that it's quite expensive. In many cases, it's difficult to measure return on investment, and then the messages are generalized in most cases. So please keep that in mind for types of advertising. Now that's above the line. Remember, there's above the line, below the line, and through the line. So we've talked about above the line and the advantages. Let me go through the advantages again. Wide reach, high visibility, good for brand building, but it's expensive because TV adverts, to create them, are very expensive, from 5 million, 10 million, 40, 45 million, 50 million. Some even fly out of Nigeria and Africa to go shoot the commercials, depending on your brand. So below the line, they are more targeted, but you are unable to reach so many people. So types of below the line adverts are direct mail advertising. I mean, that happens, where people, drop this at your home, at your house. That happens a lot in other countries, but it happens in some estates in Nigeria as well, I've noticed actually. Trade show advertising, that happens as well, which is like a form of roadshow. So there are trade shows as well. There are exhibitions, like the GT Food and Drink Festival, things like that. Those are BTL or below the line advertising opportunities. Roadshow advertising is one of them. All those roadshow, you see people with the truck dancing, that's advertising. There's product placement as well, where you have your product strategically positioned, maybe outside a supermarket or something. Then there's in-game advertising, which means there's an event happening or something, and then you place your product in there to engage with the audience, at that physical, position. Guerrilla advertising essentially are flash flash tactical adverts that are memorable. Guerrilla advertising for me I enjoy that very much because you have to be creative with guerrilla advert. I have this phrase I learned from one of my mentors, where he said, when you have a problem, whether it's marketing or not, you either throw ideas at the problem or you throw money at the problem. So if you throw money at the problem, you keep throwing money at it forever. But if you throw ideas at the problem, you solve it once and for all. So essentially, guerrilla marketing helps you throw ideas at the problem, and they are memorable. And then, of course, there's mobile advertising, your phone converging media, there's podcast advertising, and there's point of purchase, the point of sale or point of purchase advertising. The advantages of, below the line advertising is that it's very cost effective. It's highly targeted. And it's easier to measure the return on investment. So please keep that in mind. It's cost effective, highly targeted, and it's easy to measure the return on investment. The disadvantages is that the reach is limited. I mean, you can't compare the number of people you meet at a mall with the number of millions of people who will see your advert on TV or radio. So the reach is limited, and then it may require more effort for conversion. So please keep that in mind. Now, I know these are academic principles that I'm throwing at you, at your own time, search for more of them. But don't worry, we're going to get to a part where we ask about how they apply to your businesses. We'll get there. It's not just the academic aspect we're going to run through today. So there's through the line advertising again. Now there's forms of advertising that use a mix of ATL and BTL strategies for a more integrated approach. Through the line essentially combines the strength. It aims to combine the strengths of above the line and remove the weakness, and as well take the strengths of below the line and remove the weakness. And we found that the best approach for this has been digital marketing, which is through the line, which means you can reach a large number of people and still get some personalized response and feedback. So some of them are display advertising, search engine advertising, social media advertising, which is why social media marketing is so big. And which is, remember when I mentioned to you earlier that MTN does so much more than phone calls and data. All these are facilitated by MTN. So think about the solution to your above the line marketing problems and all the cost and all the issues and all your below the line problems. MTN solves all of that. And MTN has a package specifically designed for SMEs. When you have time, check that out. So you can see that as a business, what you know will help you drop a lot of cost. So there are a lot of people right now who are wasting money because they are not informed about where to get it cheaper and better. So think about it. Now you're at this session, and I'm hoping you're learning a lot about what you didn't know before and that you can apply to your business. So if you're learning a lot, please just put continuous learning. Just put that in the chat. There's a reason it needs to be continuous learning, because you don't stop learning. Continuous learning, put that in the chat. So part of through the line advertising is display ads, search ads, social media ads, native advertising, video advertising, retargeting, remarketing, influencer advertising. There's so many of them. Affiliate ads, affiliate advertising, contextual advertising, sponsored content. I mean, there's just so much. So just keep that in mind. Now, I've shared some of the analysis, but let me go a little bit deeper this time. You see, all what we've been talking about so far have been a preambles to introduce you into marketing. Now we're going into advertising and marketing in a bit more detail. So let's talk about traditional marketing. Traditional marketing, they call it traditional because, I mean, it's apt. These are the old school ways of doing things, but they are still very important. Digital marketing can technically not totally wipe them out unless we all become cyborgs and we don't, you know, like the COVID time where nobody comes out of their house. But thankfully, that's not the case anymore. So you can't totally remove this, which means if you leave traditional advertising, your competitors may use that alone and take market share from you. So if for nothing, ensure that you give your competitors something to worry about by not ignoring platforms like, if you can afford it, TV, radio, print. Then of course there's newspapers. I mean, we've talked about the traditional media platforms, and then there's public relations as well. You see, public relations is important because you see, you need to manage what people think and feel about your business. If people believe that you're a good business, they will patronize you. If people believe that you're bad, they will not. Now, let me say this. Excuse me, let me say this. And I'm going to drop some real knowledge and reality and experience here now. Please listen to this. Are you ready? Are you ready for this? If you're ready, just say ready. Let me see that in the chat. It's something I'm going to tell you now that I need you to hold on to. If you're ready, just put ready. There we go. You see, the image you put out about your business, the customer doesn't care whether it's true or not, as long as you can make it believable. I don't know if you understand that. The customer doesn't care whether it's true or not, as long as you can make it believable. I'm giving you real life experience for business, which is why public relations matters. How you tell a story matters. For you to win an argument doesn't mean you have to be correct. It just means you have to prove the other person is wrong. For you to win an argument, it doesn't mean you have to be right. It just means the other person is wrong. Then by default, you win. So you see, when you begin to see that, whether you do it or not depends on your ethics, but be aware that your competitors may do it to you. So if you are aware of that, then you can protect yourself and your business against that. You, as a businesswoman, you are honorable. As a businessman, you are honorable. Does it mean your competitors are honorable? No, it does not. But if you are honorable and you are aware that they are not honorable, then you know how to defend yourself and your business against them. The perception you share about your business is what your customers will believe, as long as you can make it believable. There are many beverages out there who just sell us sugar and water, and they tell us we're selling you happiness, joy, family. It's not really family, it's just sugar and water. But as long as we believe it's family, joy, happiness, then they are really selling us joy, happiness. Because you see, for every customer, nothing is real unless their own perception says it is real. God forbid an accident happens on the side of the road. 10 people witnessed it. They will all have 10 different stories. There may be similarities, but no story will be exactly the same like the other. So keep that in mind. The perception of your brand is totally within your control. And PR is a powerful tool to manage that. Powerful tool. From how you dress, the glasses you wear, your wristwatch, everything that you do communicates something. The kind of watch you wear, whether you put on a wedding ring to say I'm married or not, whether you're married or not doesn't matter. But if you put on a wedding ring, they're saying I'm married. Does it mean you're married? I know ladies do that a lot when they want guys to back off. I won't say a lot, but I mean, I've seen that happen. So you see, the perception you want for your business is in your control. Take control of your business. Now, there's also digital marketing. We've talked a bit about that. There's also niche marketing, which is B2B. There's some businesses you don't know about because they don't market to you. I mean, like I mentioned, who knows, for example, that Chi, as a company, manufactures paracetamol? Did you know? They manufacture paracetamol. You see? So there's also, okay, knew. So some knew, some didn't know. They do manufacture paracetamol. Who also knows that Chi creates the Tetra Pak? There was a time Martina used to have those Tetra Paks, those little boxes for kids to take to school. Chi was the company manufacturing, there was one packaging for Nigerian breweries at that time. But Chi will not sell you that service that, oh, we can, create this Tetra Pak for you, because you probably don't, need that service. So those are B2B, marketing that you need to be aware of. And there's so many business dealings that happen and you're not aware of them. So please be aware of who your customer is and then know how to target them. All right, so there's also customer lifecycle management, which means your strategies to acquire new customers. As much as you're keeping your existing customers, the market might be growing. For example, if you have one of those products that you can only sell to people 18 years and above, people are turning 18 every day. Don't ignore them. You see that? Because your competition, they are not ignoring them. There's also advocacy marketing, which is where you turn your customers into brand advocates. For example, you can see how I'm talking a lot about MTN. I've benefited a lot from MTN, honestly. From when I was in 200 level in university, and then when I got to 300 level, the first time I ever stepped out of this country, Nigeria, to go do some work was sponsored by MTN in South Africa. So MTN doesn't need to pay me for me to tell you how fantastic MTN is, because MTN has literally changed my life. And because I was working with MTN at that time, do you have any idea how many businesses called me to do business with me because they heard I was doing business with MTN. So look at what MTN is doing for you now. I'm sure this project is free. I'm not sure, is it? I'm sure it is free. MTN is paying for all of this. And MTN is still paying me. It's free, correct? If this is free, please just write it down. It's free. There you go. You see, it's free for you. EDC, MTN, people are paying for this. You see, I'll give you another example. There's something EDC, did for me. There was a particular training, that was difficult to get into. EDC went out of their way to ensure that I got in there to receive that particular training. And it's part of that training 3-4 years ago that I'm using to share that knowledge and information to you now. You see, there are people, there are organizations that you have access to who are positioned to help. Hold on to those organizations and ensure you learn and make the best of that relationship. You see, in business, you're looking for capital, right? That is social capital. There's capital where you talk about cash. Social capital is more valuable than cash capital because social capital keeps giving. It's a give and take relationship. You get that? So when MTN and EDC called, say, I need to do this, I said yes. The other meeting that I'm supposed to have, I told them, hold on. I'm in the office now. I told them to hold on. That anytime EDC calls, anytime MTN calls, this has to be. And I'm telling you this because you see, when you talk about B2B marketing, B2B relationship, marketing is also a relationship with you and your customers. This is the relationship between me and EDC, the relationship between me and MTN. I take it very seriously. So take your relationship with your customers very seriously because your customers keep you in business. They keep you alive. So keep that in mind. I hope this sinks in. Take your customers very seriously. Take your customers very seriously. So there's also experiential marketing, which is also another version of below the line marketing. There's also viral marketing, guerrilla marketing, unconventional tactics that catch people off guard, make a memorable impression. Now, let's get to how all this applies to you. How are you now supposed to think? I mean, we've bombarded you with all sorts of information. Yes, it's a lot of it. You're going to have to read through the slides to get, the hang of it. How do you know which step to take? Well, deciding the marketing activities to engage in is a critical step to formulating a successful marketing strategy. You must have a strategy before you market. Don't just market. And don't take too long developing your strategy before you test. Don't spend 6 months developing before you know your competitors are not playing around. So test. Now, the right approach often depends on a variety of factors, including your business goals, your target audience, budget, and resources. That plays a big role. Now, there were some marketing opportunities that I would have otherwise had to pay for. But for my relationship with EDC, I didn't have to pay for them. In fact, I got paid for being on those platforms instead of having to go market and pay on those platforms. Again, relationship, very important. Your network, very important. Now, you need to ask yourself and some other people certain questions. You need to ask yourself questions as a business owner. You need to ask as a company because you are different from your company. Your company is an entity, you are a different entity. Your management, you're going to ask them some questions. Your team, your customers and clients, your industry experts and consultants like myself, vendors and partners, investors and stakeholders, sales team, competitors, legal and compliance advisors, data analytics teams. There are questions you will ask them. Now let's go into some of the questions you ask. You ask yourself, now this has to do with marketing. We're talking about your marketing strategy, your marketing campaign. You ask yourself, what are my overall business objectives? You will ask, who is my target audience? I need to have answers to these before you proceed. Very quickly, what is the unique selling proposition of my product or service? You see, unique selling proposition means what you have that your competitors don't have or cannot easily replicate. If you feel it makes you unique, nobody cares. It is what your customers feel that makes you unique, that is special. That's what matters. So keep that in mind. It's what makes you, it's not what makes you feel unique. Feelings, no. It's what your customers say makes you unique. that matters. Now, what budget constraints do I have? You're going to ask yourself that. How quickly do I need to see results? Time. Very important. Every project, you talk about the scope, talk about the budget, and you talk about the time. Those are the three elements that comprise how you define any project. Now, for the company, those are the questions you ask yourself. You ask the company, what has been the historical performance from past marketing activities? You have to look at your histories. Have we been successful? Have we done well? Can we do better in this area or that area? Is BTL approach better for us? Do we market best in supermarkets? Are we better with digital marketing? Which one has been more successful? What is our past performance like? Now, do we have the resources, the time, money, personnel to manage new marketing activities? Can you afford it now? Or do you need to be more organic about your marketing and generate a bit more sales so you can put a budget together? Because marketing costs money, but marketing is designed to cost money and generate more than it has cost you. Very important for you to know. Now, what is the current market share that you have? And what are the growth objectives? Very important for you to know. How much of the market do you control? How much? MTN holds majority market share. I can't remember the specific percentage, but I know last time I checked was about 65%, which is huge, huge. So you need to know how much market share you control. It could be by state, it could be by local government, it could be by country. It depends on how you measure. It depends on where you're targeting. I mean, is your business designed to serve a physical location or is it digital? Domino's, for example, they calculate their market share, nationwide. They also calculate it statewide. They also calculate if they have an outlet in VI and they have competitors around it, they calculate the market share in that area as well. Okay, what's our market share in VI? Okay, what's our market share in Sudbury? So they calculate all of that as well. So you need to keep that in mind. And of course, at that time, Domino's decided, you know what, majority of their sales for Domino's, for example, comes from online sales. Majority of the revenue, pardon me, comes from online sales because operational costs can then drop. And then they can reduce the size of the seating space, which reduces how much they have to spend. Because digitization is the fastest way to drop operational costs. Note this, digitization, excuse me, not digital marketing, digitization or digital transformation is the fastest way to drop operational cost or expense. Note it. If you can drop your operational cost, even if your revenue doesn't increase immediately, your profit will increase. Because profit is revenue less expense or revenue minus expense. So if you make 10 Naira and you're spending 7 Naira, your profit is 3 Naira. Why not reduce what you're spending to 5 Naira? Your revenue is still 10 Naira, but your profit has increased to 5 Naira. So profit is two ways: increase your revenue or reduce your expense. But if you can do both, fantastic. And digitization or digital transformation is the fastest way to drop your cost, which is why MTN is a powerful enabler in that area and directly affects your profit. All these things I'm saying, note them. You want your business to be profitable, you have families, note them. So then you ask, are there upcoming events that you can latch onto? What are the key performance indicators that will determine your success? You must know what will determine what you will consider success. If you want your ROI to be, let's say 80%, and you get 79.9%, that's not success. If your ROI is, let's say, 100 million, and you make 99 million, that's not a successful campaign. It is 99% successful. You have to be clear about your key performance indicators. Your goals are defined. Your key performance indicators measure how much of your goals you have achieved. Key performance indicators, like I said, a lot of it is just grammar. Aren't you glad you attended your English class now? Huh? So for your management, you ask, what is the risk appetite for new marketing initiatives? What is the alignment between marketing goals and the overall business strategy? What's the level of commitment and involvement for senior management in marketing activities? There's an organization we're helping to reposition and restructure in Abuja. And we realized that at that time, the top management that were required had to be a sales-driven top management. So which means some of the new people we're going to hire, I mean, not so many anyway, maybe 3 or 4, had to be people who had sales experience and sales background, which means if we're going to get an admin person or an HR person, HR sounds crazy to have sales. Yes, the HR person needs to know how to manage the team to ensure that their sales are coming into the company. So at that time, we repositioned the company to focus on sales. Sometimes the company may want to focus on, let's say, brand building. Sometimes, it's something else. But at that time, we focused the company on sales. So you think about it, the senior management, how many of them will be involved in the marketing activities? So at that time, we had all hands on deck. And at that time, we had to establish newer sales, we had to establish more sales channels. For you, you might already have a lot of sales channels and you may just need to maintain them. So that way you don't focus on sales in particular, you focus on customer service management personnel. So the type of personnel, the kind of team you have working with you will determine the direction. But don't let the team determine the direction. Let the direction determine the team that you have working for you. You see that? It's like football. So I'm not sure a lot of us who watch football. If you know that you're going to play a team that is very defensive, well, you focus on your strikers who know how to break defense. But if you know that you're going to play a team who attacks so often, you ensure that you have a strong defense and you have attackers who can just score and protect the goals you have scored. So the strategy that you want to engage in will determine the team that you put on the field. The others can be reserve players. It's not a crime. And by the way, not all your staff have to be full-time staff. You can engage them on contract. We encourage that for a lot of the organizations that we're with, so that we have contract staff. I mean, they can work with others as long as they're not competing, things like that. So what are your expectations? We also talk about the legal and compliance matters. If you're running an advert, you need to get AppCon certificate, for example, which means the advertising practitioners, agency in Nigeria have to approve that the advert can run. We don't need to palliative by you claiming, you're the best, but that's misleading from their perspective, which is okay. So there are compliance issues you have to go with so that you're not slapped with a fine. Or there are also tax issues, and all of that you need to keep in mind, when it comes to marketing and advertising. I know it sounds surprising, but yes, if you run adverts on TV and radio, for example, there are compliance issues. And I gather that compliance will soon be coming to the digital platform in Nigeria. So keep an eye on that. I know there's the 2019 Charter for Data Protection. So keep that in mind as well. Your customers' data, what do you do with them? So there's 2019 Charter. Nigeria signed that. It's a charter. It's not yet a law per se, but it's still enforceable, sort of. So what are the expectations in terms of return on investment for marketing spend? You must be very clear on that. This is the second time I'm mentioning return on investment because we're talking about management. We'll get into that as well. So these are some questions for the team. What skill sets are available within the team? Do you have a team that can deliver on the marketing objectives you want to execute? Don't just take your brother or your cousin who posts once or twice on Instagram to say, come and run marketing campaign. Somebody who is a presenter on radio or TV. Presenting on radio and TV and marketing are two very different things. Very, very different. So keep that in mind. What type of team do you have? What experience do they have? What skill set do they have? Is there a need for external agencies or consultants? Look at the experience. What have they done successfully? Not just what have they done. What have they done successfully? That matters a lot. In many cases, as an SME, you can't afford them. However, MTN and EDC have provided you with a network. Oh, a word is enough for the wise. The network you have within EDC, take advantage of it. Okay. So what are the team's views on the effectiveness on past marketing activities? How adaptable is the team to change or adopting new technologies? What's the capacity? Sorry, hold on a second, please. Yeah, sorry about that. So how adaptable is your team to change and adapting to new technologies? You must have a team that is forward thinking regarding technology. You can't escape it. If you don't get involved in that, your competitors will get involved, and very soon you will be out of business. Even if you are a farmer, technology is important. So don't kid yourself. Don't Just keep that in mind. How adaptable is your team to new technologies? Because technology will continue to evolve and it's going to be exponential. And there's no bell curve. There's no hitting of the bell curve at the top of the curve soon. What's capacity and bandwidth to take on new initiatives? So those are the questions for your team. Then, of course, your clients. What do they value most about your product or service? Not what you value the most, what they value the most. How did they first learn about your business? What improvements or additional offerings would they like to see? So you ask them these and many more questions. In fact, for your customer, there's so many questions you should ask, but start with these basic ones. What do they value about you? How did they learn about you? Because that also lets you know where you initiated the engagement with them. What improvements or additional offerings would they like to see? Then industry experts and consultants, what are the emerging trends in the market within the industry? Are there case studies or best practices that can be emulated? Are there strategies they've executed recently or in the past that have been successful that you can learn from? What are the pitfalls and challenges in this sector? You see, consultants also help you avoid a lot of mistakes, and mistakes cost money. So they have been through those mistakes, saved maybe 1,000 naira, and then they bill you 200 naira for that, because they can bill 200 naira to 10 people. You see that? Otherwise, you will spend 1,000 naira making that same mistake. So that's essentially what consultants do. But like I said, EDC has made that network available to you. Thank you very much. Blessing, you're right. Mistakes cost money. As children, let me ask, who pays for the mistakes of children? Who pays for the mistakes of children? Who pays? Let me see that in the chat. The parents, thank you. The parents. Yesterday, my son was swinging one of these things for his video game, and he hit the big screen, the big TV. But you know the reality, no matter how many I say, it's the parents that were still going to replace that screen. It's that simple. But for you as a business, do you think your parents will come and pay for your mistake? No. Your company will pay for that. It's that simple. So avoid those mistakes as much as you can. So for the vendors and partners, you also need to get information from them. What marketing activities have they found to be effective? They have information that you may not be aware of. Ask questions. Remember, I told you continuous learning. That's our motto at EDC. Continuous learning is not continuous teaching. There's a reason it's not continuous teaching, because no matter how much you teach, if you don't learn, it's a waste. But if you have the attitude of continuous learning, even when teaching is not happening, you are constantly learning. So you learn from your vendors and your partners. What if activities in marketing have been most effective? What opportunities are there for joint marketing initiatives? You can see Coca-Cola, they go to some of these roadside or some of these other restaurants, and they brand the name of the restaurants. It's advertising, that's joint marketing. It helps. So what kind of support and resources can your partners offer, especially if you distribute via physical channels? You get, I mean, when you drive around town, you can see MTN umbrellas, MTN signboards. Those are provided by MTN. And then MTN also has call centers where they partner with others to make sure that you get the best service. So partnership. So what marketing activities can you engage in? And they branded MTN to let you know if you walk in here, you can be assured of the MTN quality that you're used to. So keep that in mind. Find out from your vendors and your partners within your sales, distribution, marketing channels, what partnership opportunities exist. So investors and shareholders, what are the expectations regarding growth, profitability, time? Are they patient enough for you to run a 6-month, 1-year campaign? Yes, no, that will affect your marketing decisions. Do they have concern about the current marketing activities that you're running, what you've run in the past? You asked for 10 million to run marketing campaign, you ran it, the ROI was, by the time you ran the campaign, you only made 12 million naira. They'll look at it and say, okay, there's 2 million naira, but then look at the time, this and that. So you have to talk to them to know their concerns. Are there specific market segments that they are interested in so that you can align with them? So you need to talk to your investors and stakeholders as well. The sales team, you need to get in touch with them because they are speaking directly with the customers. We have one of the clients we work with, they have merchandisers in the field. Our biggest and deepest source of quality information is from the merchandisers. Those ladies know so many things about the customers that we don't. They know what direction the customers walk into the stores, at, where their eyes go to, eye level, what colors catch their attention. They give us so much information. So we meet with them as a group, the entire group once a month, but we meet with the leaders once a week, with the team leads once a week, because the sales teams, they give us that much information. So don't ignore your sales team. Treat them kindly. They have a lot of information that will help your business. What kind of marketing support will help them close deals? What would they need to sell more? Would they need brightly colored stands, POS, materials? Would that help them sell more? For example, in some supermarkets, you walk in there and you see a part. In fact, I took a picture of some of them, and then you see lights, around your own products and your brand. It draws the attention of the customer. So when you run that kind of activation, the sales people will tell you whether it works or not, because you may think you've sold 100 products today, but your competitors sold 200. You only know what you sold. So they can watch you and watch your competitors. So my point is, get a lot of information from your sales team. Are there specific seasons or cycles? Are there specific teams or cycles when sales are strong or weak? So keep that in mind. They'll give you that information. Competitors, you can find out about them through market research. You see, about your competitors, in many cases, it's very easy to find out about your competitors. Look at what they're advertising. Study their adverts, study their ads, and then also approach your competitors as any other customer. You will learn a lot from them, because you see, your competitors want to please your customers. How they treat you as a customer will let you know their strengths and weaknesses. It's not unethical, it's normal. You're a customer like everybody else. So that will let you know. But keep in mind, your competitor who is smart may also use that to analyze your business. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're lucky, your competitor may not be at this program, So, hey, now, how does your competitor engage with their customer base? What is their unique selling proposition? You can easily get that from what they advertise. And then, of course, legal and compliance advisors. You have to talk to them about the regulations. So we've discussed that already. Internal and external analytics teams, you will need data and research. I put this last, essentially, to let you know that I need to emphasize this. Data and analytics teams, you can overemphasize the importance, because they give you facts and figures about how and where to market. So this is essentially a checklist for a marketing campaign. The planning phase, where you define the objectives, target audience, budget allocation, competitors, research, your marketing channels, legal and compliance. The development phase, your content creation, your design element. This is talking about a marketing campaign. Advertising, to be precise. Design elements, your campaign calendar, your technology stack, the type of tech you use, your teams, and then your pre-launch phase. Before you launch, you have a plan. Then when you roll out, these are the steps you take. I'm leaving all this in there because this is going to be like a workbook for you. You're going to ask the what, why, how. Let me give you an example of one. For the pre-launch, what? Confirm all campaign elements are ready for launch. Double checking this. Why? To avoid last-minute glitches and errors that could derail the campaign. How? Conduct a final review meeting with stakeholders. So you're going to have this for your pre-launch initiation of the campaign, your real-time monitoring, your crisis management plan also needs to be in place. Then your rollout phase, this continues as well. Your community engagement, mid-campaign adjustments, documentation. It's possible for you to change strategy in the middle of the campaign. So your documentation as well, very important. Then, of course, after the campaign, you must analyze it to know what worked and what did not work so that you can improve it, so that your ROI continues to improve, which means what you spend will reduce and the benefits you get will increase. So that's essentially a checklist for your marketing campaign. So I hope you have found that useful, and I try to make out 15 minutes for questions. So thank you so much for your time. So that was quite a lot. So Halima, over to you. Let me take a couple of questions. Yeah, this is my WhatsApp number. Send me chats when you have questions and I'll respond to them. Typically it takes me about 24 hours, but I always get to all the questions. So Halima, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. DG.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Jude.
Oh, okay, Jude. Great. Good to have you. So I'm happy to take a couple of questions. Hello, you're breaking. I can't hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Please go ahead.
Okay, I think I've unmuted.
Okay. Yes.
Alima, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, I can hear. Please go ahead.
All right. If you have any questions you need to ask Mr. Deji, it's time to drop your questions so he can respond to you. We are looking at the chat and he's looking at the chat also. So if you have any questions, this is your time to ask him any question that is bothering your business or you bothering your mind that you think to improve your business and also improve your learning.
In that case, let me ask a question. 3 types of advertising. The first one is above the line. What are the other 2? Above the line is one of them. Name the other 2. Yes, BTL and TTL. No, somebody said before the line. No, it's below the line. Correct. So what makes through the line special? There's above the line, below the line, and through the line. What makes through the line special? What makes through the line special? Who knows? Yes, it's a mix of both ATL and BTL, correct. Okay, that sounds great. Okay. Okay, fantastic question. Thank you very much. There's a question that says, marketing management plays a crucial role in executing corporate strategy. Absolutely. How do you know if you've done good marketing? Well, the reality is you want to market so that you can sell. If your sales go up, then your marketing is good. And in many cases, sometimes your marketing may not be directly to achieve sales, maybe for brand awareness, maybe to correct an impression that the market has about you. But when you set the goals that you want to achieve with that marketing campaign and you measure them, you see every marketing campaign, there are 3 elements you look out for: the scope of what you want to achieve, which is your KPIs that will measure the goals, the budget you want to spend, and then the time frame. If you spend anything above that budget and time frame, the project is not totally successful. If you achieve anything less than the scope, not totally successful.
And right, chick and hen, girl and women, rose and flower, dog and pearl, robin and bird, dogs and bat, dogs and kennel. Remember, bat is the sound, whoa, whoa, dog bat.
But because you are SMEs, I recommend that a lot of your sales campaigns be tied to at least affect or have an effect on your sales one way or another. It's as much as you're building the brand, try and have sales as, even if it's your secondary goal, because you are spending money on marketing. And as you're growing, you need sales so that you can sustain your marketing, because marketing costs money and sustaining it, requires sales, So that's my feedback for that. That's how you know your marketing campaign is successful. When you accomplish your goals within the time and the budget that you've planned. Anything above the budget or the time is actually a failed project. And anything less than your initial goal is also a failed project. How do I strategic for a better marketing and sale? Okay, you see that checklist I put at the end of the slides with all those questions. If you can just answer those questions, they're very simple questions, one after the other. Let me just show them to you. If you can answer these questions, one after the other, you ask yourself, your management, your team, if you can answer these questions, right, and go through this checklist, you will have a successful marketing campaign. Now, somebody says, I need funds to improve my business. Ijeoma, how much do you need? Skylar, you're marketing a service. The service is still a product. In the same way, you find out what they need is a solution. But let me ask, I'll come back to you, Skylar. Ijeoma, how much do you need? Hadiza, EDC will provide the slides for you. So who needs money? If you need money, okay, you need $1 million. Okay, what will you do? Can you unmute, Ijeoma? Let me hear from you because you never know. Who needs money? Let me talk to somebody that needs money. Who needs money? Just unmute. Somebody that needs money, unmute. Let's talk. Let me hear how much you need. Halima, go ahead. How much do you need? Halima, how much do you need?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How much do you need?
About 500,000.
Okay. You say about. Okay, that's a red flag. You need to know specifically how much you need. What do you need it for?
I need to get a mannequin, ring
To get what?
light. Ring light.
Okay, ring light mannequin. Okay. Let's assume you get that money via loan. What interest rate are you expecting?
Interest.
Yeah. Don't be like all those ladies who just want free money. That's not respectable.
Okay.
Even if it's a grant, somebody provided that grant. So yeah, so you need 500,000, right?
Yes.
Good. So what interest rate are you looking at? It's a business you're running. Even if it's your dad gave you that money, it's an investment. So you need to yield returns. So how much returns are you expecting? Is it 10%? Most banks do 20, 25, 22. 20 is even low for most banks. So let's say you're lucky, you get maybe a single digit, 9%, or the lowest double digit, 10%. So does that work for you? 50,000 naira profit. Can you return 550 in 3 months?
In 3 months?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, because of school.
Now, let me clarify this. You see, what you need is not money. What you need is a plan of how to ensure your business is attractive to investors who will then give you money. You don't need money. You think you need money, but what you need is how to make your business attractive to investors so that they can give you money. You don't understand that? Will you go and plant seeds in a soil that will not germinate?
No.
Exactly. So the first thing is you need to do what we call harrowing. You need to make the ground fertile so that when you plant seed, because that money they are giving you, It's not an expense, it's investment. They are investing. So if they are going to invest in you, well, they need to get return on their investment. So you see, before you ask for any money, ask yourself how you are going to pay that money back. Because most people who ask for money are not thinking about how they will pay back. So it's easy to ask for money when you're not the one when you're not the one giving it. You see?
Yes, sir.
I can see Imams is saying you need the right investors. Let me assure you, there are a lot of people looking for businesses to invest in with billions of naira looking for businesses to invest in. But you know the problem? Most businesses will fail because the people don't know how to turn that 10 million into 15 million. They don't have the knowledge. They'll just, if you collect that money, the money is gone. That's it. So what you need is not money. Let me tell you why. You see, if you knew the secret on how to make your business attractive to investors, do you know why you will not need money? Investors will not be the one that need you. They'll be the ones chasing you. It's like a lady who says, I don't have a husband. No, the problem is not the husband. Because there are many single men who are looking for a wife. Make yourself wife material. Husbands will be chasing you. Therefore, your problem of looking for a husband has disappeared.
So does it apply to all businesses?
Every single business on the planet. It applies to every business in the world. Every business. It applies to every business.
Okay.
If your business has 1 naira and you turned it to 3 naira, and you have done that consistently, banks will pick their phone and call you. Hello, ma. We've noticed that your account, I'm your account officer. They will introduce themselves to you as your account officer, and they'll offer you a loan. How do I know? They do it to me all the time. Sir, we have this loan. Are you interested? I say, look, I'm busy. So where's your office? We'll come. Because the banks are investing because they want return. So they'll be chasing you because they know that when they invest in you, you will get returns. They too will get returns. You will be profitable. They'll make money. So if you're investing 10 naira, you make 20 naira. They'll rather invest 100 million and make 200 million. In fact, by that time, economies of scale, it took me 100 million to 200 million, to be 100 million to about 300 million, based on economies of scale.
Yes, sir.
So you see, a lot of people who say they need money. The issue is not money. The issue is knowledge on how to become attractive to those that have money. You see that? So ladies who need husband, the issue is not the husband. The issue is you being a wife that the husband needs. That's the same for business. Do you know how many men are looking for wives? Do you know how many ladies are looking for husband? But what is the problem in between? The man has to propose. It's the man who makes a decision to marry before the woman then says yes or no. So the man initiates. Same way, the bank has to initiate to give you. But if you go and beg the bank, it's like a woman going to beg a man to marry her. They won't respect you very much.
Yeah.
You see that? Have you noticed that banks chase people that already have successful businesses to come and take loan? That's another session. One day, when we have time, EDC will make that time. We'll discuss how to make your business attractive so that investors will be chasing you. You'll be the one confused, saying, okay, which one do I take? Which one do I take? One of my clients at Lekki, her concern now is she's afraid that she may not be able to pay the money back because they're offering her investment, 140 million, 150 million, 180 million. Different banks are offering her. So what they are now doing, the banks are now competing based on interest rate, who can give her the best deal. Anyway, it's 12 noon, thereabout. So EDC, please, one day, it would be nice to have a session on how to make, SMEs attractive to investors. It will be fun. It will be amazing. There's so many things I'll share that people have no idea about. Ngozi, yes, you have a request. Please put in the chat. All right. So, Jude, over to you.
Okay, thank you.
Lydia, yes. If you have a question, you can send it to me on WhatsApp or send to EDC. Jude, over to you.
Hello?
Yes,
Can you
I
hear
can
me?
hear you. Yes.
Okay. Thank you all for attending this webinar. I hope it has been very and I would like to thank you guys for coming for this session. I really appreciate it. And also for those wondering for the link for this session, it will be sent to you.
All right.
All right.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you so much, EDC. EDC, I appreciate the integrity that EDC has brought into the business world. So thank you very much. And MTN, thank you for so many opportunities that you have been giving me since I've been on campus. Since my 200, 300 level student. You may not remember a lot of the marketing department at EDC. So many of, thank you. So thank you,
Okay,
EDC.
sorry.
Thank you,
I would like
MTN.
for us
Yeah.
on our screen, our camera, so that we can take a picture.
Yes. Okay, let me disable my, let me stop sharing. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, for those asking for the materials, will be sent to you. You're on the Telegram group. And also you filled your details correctly when registering for this webinar. It will be sent to your email.
All right, taking the pictures. Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Welcome.
Yes, yeah. And have a lovely day ahead.